I first met Richard in 2008 at the Going West Slam, and I loved his performance. The thing I love about Richard is he not only has beautiful poetry, but his delivery is equally enchanting, and he writes such a wide range of work, from very sincere and heartfelt to really quite quirky and funny and even raunchy at times. So we're in for a treat tonight. Richard has an acting background. He toured with the Auckland Theatre Company in the 80s. They travelled around the North Island performing a number of plays, and he has also performed in schools throughout the North Island and has been a frequent performer of poetry in the Auckland scene and on the slam circuit for many, many years. And he now owns Unicorn Books in Warkworth, a very wonderful bookstore where I can often be found whenever I have a spare moment reading and drinking cups of tea. So, Richard, I'm very pleased you could drive all the way down tonight, particularly in the rain, and welcome. Come.
Thank you very much. Hello, good evening. Just have a quick water. Right, I do a variety of stuff, my own and various other poets, more well-known poets. I won't really stop, I'll just keep going. I'll mention the names of the poets whose work I'm reading as I go along. When I don't mention them, that'll be because it's mine. Our sex life toward the end compared unfavourably with a correspondence course in mechanical engineering. Foreplay, or any kind of play, became a one-sided affair. When ready, she would tug at my arm and I would enter with the polite gravity of a butler. You rang for service, ma'am? As the song Heart of Glass plays on the jukebox, Sheila's face is like a mask. Her voice is razor-edged as she mutters about her true identity as the dark-haired sister of Blondie's Debbie Harry. She snaps cigarettes in two, lights, flicks them into her mouth, and behind sealed lips chews defiantly. He slides in opposite, hand all hovering over tabletop, palm face down, tumbling a coin across knuckles, left to right, right to left, continually at various speeds, and sometimes halting it upright between two fingers. Eventually, distracted from anxieties, back from the haunted house, spitting cigarette remains into an empty cup, she smiles at the stranger savior. With a childlike trust, she follows him as he leaves. Unnoticed on the table, tiny flakes, scrapings of red enamel paint, hardly the size of sugar grains, have fallen from the coin's serrated edge. The only evidence of its use as a tool to illustrate envy and hate along the sides of expensive cars. Bidding at an end, the bridge club is folded until next Tuesday evening. On the pavement outside, the town's retired doctor, a butcher, say some, talks with his wife. They have an intimacy and ease about them that is enviable. Laughter from the doctor's wife splashes like waters over stones in a mountain stream, a sort of sound haiku in 17 decibels. The doctor smiles and notes, "How bright the stars tonight. How beautiful my wife." I'm going to try this now. This is a thing called Night Train by W.H. Auden, written in the 40s for a film about the Royal Mail train that travelled every night from London to Scotland, and another one went the opposite way. This is the one going up to Scotland. Night Train by W.H. Auden. This is the night mail crossing the border, bringing the check in the postal order, letters for the rich, letters for the poor, shop in the corner and the girl next door, pulling up Beatock a steady climb, the gradient's against her, but she's on time, past cotton grass and moorland border, shoveling wet steam over her shoulder, snorting noisily as she passes, silent miles of wind-bent grasses. Birds turn their heads as she approaches, stare from the bushes at her blank-faced coaches. Sheepdogs can't turn her course, they slumber on with paws across. In the farm she passes, no one wakes, but a jug in the bedroom gently shakes. As dawn freshens, her climb is done. As down towards Glasgow she descends, toward the steam tugs yelping down the glade of cranes, toward the fields of apparatus, the furnaces set on the dark plain like gigantic chessmen. All Scotland waits for her in the dark glens beside the pale green sea locks. Men long for news. Letters of thanks, letters from banks, letters of joy from the girl and the boy, receipt to bills and invitations to inspect new stock or visit relations, applications for situations, timid lovers' declarations, and gossip from all the nations, news circumstantial, news financial, letters with holiday snaps to enlarge, and letters with faces scrawled in the margin, letters from uncles, cousins and aunts, letters to Scotland from the south of France, letters of condolence to Highlands and Lowlands, notes from overseas to Hebrides, written on paper of every hue, pink and the violet, the white and the blue, the chatty, the catty, the boring, the adoring, cold and official, and the hearts outpouring, clever and stupid and short and the long, the typed and the printed and the spelt all wrong. And thousands are still asleep, dreaming of terrifying monsters or of friendly tea beside the band at Cranston's or Crawford's, asleep in Glasgow, asleep in well-set Edinburgh, asleep in granite Aberdeen, they continue their dreams, and shall wake soon and long for letters, and no one will hear the postman's knock without a quickening of the heart, for who can bear to feel himself forgotten? Standing in the crowded bar, the young girl beside me in a sleeveless blouse and wearing no bra raises her arm to touch her hair. For a moment, her armpit becomes the corner of the frame to a fruit shop window, and fine, firm fruit is on display. Suddenly, I feel hungry and fancy a little shoplifting. There's a couple of poems by Laurie Lee, an English poet, author of Cider with Rosie. This one is called April Rise. If ever I saw blessing in the air, I see it now in this still early day, where lemon green the vaporous morning drips, wet sunlight on the powder of my eye. Blown bubble film of blue, the sky wraps round weeds of warm light, whose every root and rod splutters with soapy green, and all the world sweats with the bead of summer in its bud. If ever I heard blessing, it is there, where birds in trees that shoals and shadows are, splash with their hidden wings and drops of sound, break on my ears their crests of throbbing air. Pure in the haze the emerald sun dilates the lips of sparrow's milk, the mossy stones, while white as water by the lake, a girl swims her green hand among the gathered swans. Now, as the almond burns its smoking wick, dropping small flames to light the candled grass. Now, as my low blood scales its second chance, if ever world were blessed, now it is.